Okay. All right, we are live. Oh, sorry.
Are we live?
We are live. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to Art and Mason, everyone. I am Amy Joy. Can I hear that applause again? I'm Amy Joy. This is Art in the Basin. We are live here at Motamore Coffee and Wine, as we are every other Tuesday, except for the holidays and summer. Okay. We don't actually have a mic. That's why I'm saying this so loudly. Sorry. So, this is for the Zoom world and the world of the internet. Yeah, we're very grateful for everybody out there in Zoom and watching us YouTube live. Love you. So let's get this started. We are going to have two performers today. One is Alexis Garcia. Woo! Come on. The next one is comedy with Shelly Colman. But to help you guys, help guide us through the next hour, let me introduce the man who will do so. His name is Tim W. Brown, author of 4 novels, including my favorite, Second Acts. You can find that on Amazon. And he was once known as the minor god in the Chicago poetry scene. Please help me welcome Tim W. Brown, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, so we don't have a mic. The mic is for the inner tubes here. When you're up here during the open mic, make sure you project, from the diaphragm, right? So anyhow, welcome. Hopefully everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. We just had that holiday and, we're entering kind of the next third of the holiday season with Christmas and Hanukkah coming up. And then that will, of course, be finished off by, yeah, I believe they are on the same day this year, which is funky. Well, the calendars aligned. And then, yeah, New Year's, obviously, January 1st. So we'll have a week longer break than usual. We'll be back on the 9th of January. That's not our next date. Our next date's 2 weeks from tonight. I'll get to that in a moment, but don't come here the 2nd because face it, you're going to be kind of hungover anyway. So we're going to give you another week to recover from your festivities. Anyhow, what is there to say? Oh, today is Tuesday, December 3rd. It is Giving Tuesday. Hopefully everybody gave. Oh, here's Shelly. Hey, Shelly, how are you? Our second performer's here. Great to see you. So hopefully you gave to charities of your choice. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's the 8th then. I'm sorry. I may have given the wrong date because I'm a mathematic retard. What can I say?
This time the 7th. I'm sorry. Tuesday is the 7th.
The 7th of January. Okay. Well, thank you, Stan, for that.
That's my phone.
Yeah, I know. I looked at my phone and I just misread it. Maybe I was looking at 2024. Anyhow, Giving Tuesday. Hopefully everybody gave to their favorite charity. I have a few favorite charities that I gave to. They're all Bronx related. There's the Kingsbridge Historical Society, the Bronx County Historical Society, the Bronx River Alliance, and Van Cortlandt Park Alliance. So my favorite charities. I'm a member of WFUV, so I give like every month, in case you were wondering. Anywho, before we get started with our featured performers, I thought I would read a poem about gifting or gifts. This poem is by a pretty famous poet, David Lehman. It's a New Yorker. And it's from poemhunter.com. I always recommend Poem Hunter as the go-to source for poetry by poets, both famous and not so famous. David Lehman's more of a famous poet. This poem, The Gift, has a little introductory statement. He gave her class, she gave him sex. That's Katharine Hepburn on Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Anyway, what was that joke? Like, Fred Astaire was a great dancer, but Ginger did it all backwards, right? Because she was always, being led by him, as being the female in the couple. Anyhow, he gave her money. She gave him head. He gave her tips on aggressive growth, mutual funds. She gave him a red rose and a little statue of Eros. He gave her Genesis 2. She gave him Genesis 1. He gave her a square peg. She gave him a round hole. He gave her Long Beach on a late Sunday in September. She gave him zinnias and cosmos in the plenitude of July. He gave her a camisole and a brooch. She gave him a cover and a break. He gave her Venice, Florida. She gave him Rome, New York. He gave her a false sense of security. She gave him a true sense of uncertainty. He gave her the finger. She gave him what for. He gave her a black eye. She gave him a divorce. He gave her a steak for her black eye. She gave him his money back. He gave her what she had never had before. She gave him what he had had and lost. He gave her nastiness in children. She gave him prudery in adults. He gave her Panic Hill. She gave him Mirror Lake. He gave her an anthology of drum solos. She gave him the rattle of leaves in the wind. David Lehman, everybody, The Gift. Celebrate Giving Tuesday. Well, anyhow. Yeah. Quite a poem that was. Yeah. Anyhow, why don't we get right to our featured performers for the evening? Alexis Garcia, aka Vexed Lex, is a queer Hispanic writer from East Harlem, New York. She is the author of her debut poetry book, Ask Me Again in 6 Months. Her work has also been featured in literary magazines such as Mixed Bag, Air Light, Door is Ajar, Journal of Undiscovered Poets, among others. She has also been a featured reader for FUMFA, Poets and Writers Live, The Word is Right, and Poetry House. Everybody, please welcome Alexis Vexed Lex Garcia.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alexis. I go by Vex Lex. And I'm excited to be here. Also, a tiny bit nervous. Go. Huh? Thank you. I have a couple pieces tonight. Nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna read maybe 2 pieces from my book and then 2 other new pieces that I've written recently. So I'm gonna start off. My first piece is called First Impression. Of course, I believe in love at first sight. I also believe in obsession at first impression. Not to say that these are the same, but when it's left up to love, everything is a game. Everything is a gamble, and you scramble for a chance to catch your breath. Because unrequited love can feel like the difference between life and death. Of course, I believe in love at first sight. I also believe in getting hooked from the first look. The chemicals are reacting. I try acting as though I am still in my right mind, but it has left me to fend for myself and to increase the insecurities that protect a vulnerable membrane. Can I still be deemed sane if my mental faculties are in a bind? I try to find a way to restore the equilibrium, to maintain order in my cerebrum. All may not be lost, but sometimes the cost of your sanity seems like a bargain when it means you get to feel that warmth again. Thank you. So that was First Impression. I think I wrote that a couple months ago. My next piece, it's one of my favorite pieces. It's called Chopping Block. So a lot of my pieces, I kind of start off with saying my mother says this because my mom says a lot. And you know, I put it in my poetry and she's like, you know, stop writing about me in your poetry. And I'm like, but mom, it's not bad. I promise it's not bad. So it's called Chopping Block. My mother says I am a glutton for punishment. I say I am a martyr for masochism. I barter with magnetism, pulling me closer to the flames. I pretend it doesn't burn. When will I learn? I should never let myself be called anything other than my name. Life has shown me no mercy, so in return, I follow suit. Why am I like this? I must get to the root. A nuisance for nourishment. I wonder if self-deprecation will always taste this good. I could just walk away, but where's the fun if you don't have the last say? Pain is a great motivator, disgust an excellent stimulator. I obsess because I can. There are things about myself I do not understand. Look to others to fuel the hurt, starved for vengeance, but somehow I end up eating dirt. Wondering what I could have done to deserve this. I have lost my nerve. I am powerless to the past, the act of having my emotions on full display for the whole world to judge. It wouldn't be me if I didn't hold a grudge. If it were up to me, I'd find another way, another medium for my pain. Because when it is you on the chopping block, what is there to gain? So there's that piece. And then for my final two pieces, I am going to read from my book, Ask Me Again in 6 Months. Um,
That's only so far, right?
yeah. No, my book. I have a bunch of copies. I have not a bunch. I have some with me, and I have a bunch at my house. So you guys, um, if you guys would like my book, Ask Me Again in 6 months. You can always DM me on Instagram at VexLex Poetry to secure a copy, and I'll mail it right to you. Thank you for that. All right. So this third piece is called Hellish. I have been my own devil, throwing myself into the fire to see how much I burn, to relish in it, learning to adjust to welcoming the added heat, tricking myself into believing I deserve to be wrapped in comforting arms instead of flames. Hell seems like home to me, and my demons are just those nosy neighbors who keep showing up unannounced, overstaying their welcome and leaving my home in disarray, or maybe it was already that way. I have no one to blame but myself when I keep leaving the door unlocked. A troubled soul treading through life on troubled souls. I told my therapist that I must enjoy torturing myself, and she questioned if that was really true. Well, hell is only supposed to be a pit stop, but that's difficult when your brain has already drawn up floor plans for a longer stay. Thank you. For my very last piece, I'm going to do the very last poem in the book. It's called Healing. I definitely thought it was a good way to kind of wrap up the book. So healing. That fine line between moving forward and relapsing, fitting your pieces together and collapsing, continuous strides to escape the existential dread while wrapping yourself in it. You stumble when you walk a straight line, but it's okay since healing is never linear. It's messy and it's selfish, and you will find yourself feeling helpless, but you are no victim. So you ignore the obvious signs. We need to treat the healing of our mind as we do the healing of our body. We pick at intangible wounds, the more we ponder over what cuts us deep. We wait until our limbs are limp, our shoulders are sunken, our hearts are hardened, our wounds have widened, and even then you won't take a break just yet. You decide that this weekend you'll take a day to rest, to wind down, but your body decides the time is now. When you've got multiple projects piling up and deadlines to make, you've been so bent out of shape, and it's no wonder your body finally decided to break down. So listen when I tell you to take care of your mind before it takes care of you. Thank you. One more? Okay. So I'll do another. So a lot of my pieces, I tend to focus on mental health awareness. So I'm gonna do one of my favorite pieces. Oh. It's called Couples Counseling with My BPD. I'm sorry about all the rescheduled appointments, I tell the counselor. I tried to mask my disappointment. I finally got them to come with me. You see, they say, she is already putting the blame on me. So what brings you two here today? Well, they say, she uses me like a crutch, that when things are overwhelming and life seems too much, I'm always the reason. Well, you are the reason I don't believe in myself, since you take hold of me and cause me to second guess my thoughts. You taught me that everyone is meant to leave. They are, don't you see? In the end of it all, the only one to stay is me. I don't know who I am because you are all there is to know. Whose fault is it really that you can't let go? Do you know what it feels like to not be seen? Do you know what it feels like to not be seen? To always take the blame for this life that you created? If you never existed, I would be elated, because from heartbreaks to minor inconveniences, I can't help but to be devastated. Life is what you make it. I am more you than you realize. Get your head out of the clouds and accept what's right in front of your eyes. You see, doctor, our arguments go nowhere. I'm fighting with myself like some kind of freak. The counselor finishes jotting down her notes. So, same time next week. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate you guys for listening to my poetry. Again, if you'd like to follow me on my Instagram, VexLex Poetry, that's VEXED Lex Poetry. And I'm grateful for this opportunity and can't wait to hear some comedy. Thank you so much.
Here, one more time for Alexis Vexlex Garcia. Thank you. A couple of lines or moments in the poetry resonated with me. Martyr of masochism. Yeah, that's me. And this, taking the blame for the life you created. Wow. Heavy stuff, but also with a light, humorous, sort of wry touch. Certainly witty. Thank you again, Alexis, for that. We're going to shake things up slightly here. We're going to go into the open mic next, and then we will conclude with comedy a little later by Shelly Colman. What's that? Stand? Okay. All righty. Before we get to the open mic, though, let me just sort of announce a couple of things. We'll be back here in 2 weeks on the 17th of December. We have rescheduled Sarah Stern, who should have been here 2 weeks ago, but we had to cancel. But she'll be here in 2 weeks. Also appearing that night is Felicia Villanueva, who is the Westchester County Poet Laureate, down here from Yonkers. And finally, musician Kevin Delaney, who will perform his Christmas song. We'll be back the Did we determine it's the 7th of January? The 7th of January with poet Melinda Wilson. You may know Melinda as the host up the hill at the Ambiel Bach Pormouth reading series. She'll be here. She has a new book, so please do come check her out. And finally, beginning tomorrow and also on the 11th, so this will be December 4th and December 11th, Art in the Basin is hosting a writing workshop with poet Cheryl Fish. She'll be returning for another workshop that she's leading. This is about the poetic form haibun, which is a Japanese form that sort of mixes prose and haiku. Sounds crazy to me. I'm certainly will be there. Do we have slots still? We have people? Oh, it's sold out. Well, crap. Well, sorry about that. But anyway, that's what's going on. Art in the Basin, we do other things besides these readings. We do workshops, we do special events. So anyhow, let's move on with the open mic. We want to bring up first Stan. Two minutes. We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, we got to keep it brisk here tonight. Well, you know, if you go over a little, you know, yeah. We don't really have a hook here, you know, like they do in vaudeville or did in vaudeville. Oh, careful, Stan. What's that?
These two just comedy where you fall over your own stuff.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I think I married you.
And you want to take your mic and here's your prompt right here. Make sure you're in the picture and you'll be good. Everybody stand.
Remember, speak to the room, Stan.
My poem is called Former Friends, Lovers, and Former Friends, Lovers, and More. I wrote this just before Election Day. I watch Judge Judy. Yes, I really do. Former friends through former friends. Former lovers through former lovers. And recently, I spoke to my friends, the ones who support Harris. They all say the same thing. We all have relatives for Trump. Many a year ago, in Bryant Park, I met a Kentucky lady. Told me back in 1861, that is, her ancestor raised the regiment, fought for the Union he did. A relative's ancestor fought for the Confederacy. Now they still don't speak, still fighting that war. As I look at today's war, today's pre-Civil War, will anyone speak to anyone on the day that follows the election?
Thanks, Stan. Here, let me step in front of you and appreciate that. I have a feeling that Stan's not the only person in the room kind of bumming after the election a couple of weeks ago. At least here in New York State, we're reliably blue. So, Nina, you got something for us. All right, everybody, Nina. Well, unless you want me to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I need to hold it at the same time. Okay. Hi, my name is Nina. I'm Stan's wife. Sometimes opposites attract. Um, I'm a, I'm a singer. He can't sing at all. He doesn't even sing in the shower. Okay. I have one. Okay. I have one song in Hebrew and then one from the Episcopalian Church where we go on Sunday. Because he doesn't come to temple anymore because they're all Trumpies. It's true. Sim shalom davau bracha. Sim shalom davau bracha. Shalom Tova Bracha, Shalom Tova Bracha, Shalom Tova Bracha, Shalom Tova Bracha. For those of you who haven't figured it out, shalom means peace or hello, but yeah, either way. Okay. This is the Episcopalian hymn, which I really had memorized only the first verse of, but I remember it from the days when I heard Joan Baez do it many years ago. Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. I'm singing with the choir at Lehman College Sunday at 2:30. If anyone is welcome, the tickets are free. You just have to tell me ahead of time.
Right. Thank you, Nina.
Very
The
nice.
seasonal tunes. Anyhow, why don't we bring up next Heather, and then after Heather, it'll be Eric and Ron. We're doing a duet, but first we'll have Heather. Oh. Heather is a longtime friend of Art in the Basins, been a featured reader at least once or twice. So welcome back. Great to have you here.
I love New York, despite the fact that I live in St. Kitts. I love St. Kitts too. I wrote this poem not so long ago from a prompt, which was a picture of a tree, and half of the tree was lying kind of like, you know, what is that thing? Not vertical, the other one. I forget my words. Forgive me. That's why I write, because I never remember what to say. Resistance, I call it. Resistance. The mango tree trunk still stands crooked, heaving like the tattered drunken woman rejected from a late night rum shop, facing a shame no man can ever know. A wayward branch with welts and bruises, opening upon older bruises, whipped by nature's fury, old and recent hurricanes, lightning, storms with flash floods, the stress of human weight, twisting, falling, yet rising in a painful, torturous dance. Snakes and goblins may be up there, they say, among the braided limbs. Even the leaves have drifted apart, as if unwilling to give shade, yet she lives, her body fixed upon her roots, top branches growing up to sky, leaves supple green, as if to say, we may not always be, but today we are. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, Heather. Typically deep poem by Heather Archibald. Oh, looks like we have Mindy. Mindy's joined. Hi, Mindy. We'll get to you in a moment.
No problem.
But first, let's hear from Eric and Ron Mark.
Did I miss the features?
I'll hold the mic for you. Double. That way you can concentrate with the homework. Hi, we are Eric and Ron Mark. It's like it's. Hey. Let's see.
Myself, which I shouldn't be doing.
You can look at there, yeah.
So this is the season.
Oh, look at that! Wow.
Who are these two people?
No,
No idea.
you didn't tell me I would be on camera. Come on.
I'm going to be,
I'll hold it for
okay.
you. Is it, no, you're good? Okay.
okay, so this is the season to eat what you're not supposed to eat. And this song is called I Just Want to Eat What I Want to Eat. So let's see. Please don't do this to me. Excuse me. All right. That didn't work because I didn't turn this on. That would have helped. Just a moment, technical. Okay. I can hear that. That's the last false start, I promise. I just want to eat what I want to eat. I just want to eat what I want to eat. I won't surrender to the food police. I want to eat what I want to eat. Give me burgers and fries. Make them super size. Give me burgers and fries. Make them super size. Eating burgers and fries. I want to eat what I want to eat. Wow.
Too much sugar, too much salt, ruin your health. It'll be your fault. Do as I say, not as I do, if you know what's good for you.
Don't tell me I got to change my diet. If it's edible, I'll try it. Don't tell me you got to change my diet because I want to eat what I want to eat. Give me cookies and cake. Put heaps on my plate. Give me cookies and cake. But put on my plate. Sorry about that. Because I want to eat what I want to eat, Ron.
Oh, too much sugar, too much salt, ruin your health. It'll be your fault. I'm telling you, do as I say, not as I do, if you know what's good for you.
Xanthan gum and sorbitol, they don't bother me at all. I got no grudge against additives. Got my chocolate flavored laxative. GMOs, OMG. Don't tell me what's good for me.
Thank you, Eric. An assist by Ron Mark. That was hilarious. Makes me want to go home and gorge. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. There's a whole case full of pastries there. Yeah, wow. Look great. Anyhow, this is a cafe, so if you haven't ordered food and drink already, please do so. And be sure to tip your server heavily. We're grateful to have this space every other Tuesday at Monomore Coffee and Wine. Been here nearly 8 years now. We're in our 8th year. So thanks for your support here in the room and out there on Zoom. We have Mindy on Zoom. Should we try and set her up now? Well, I was going to have Fly Vita come up last, or
Later.
right. So give us a second, Mindy. Hopefully you're hearing us. We have to set up the sound, but we'll give you the thumbs up when it's time.
Okay.
Meantime, a couple of announcements. We're on the various social media sites in the inner tubes. We're on Facebook at AITB, Art in the Basin, Instagram at Art in the Basin, and of course, YouTube at Art in the Basin. And of course, this event here is being live streamed on YouTube and will also be available as a video come tomorrow, maybe even later tonight. I don't know how that works. So if you want to, it is right now. Well, it's happening live, but then it also will be saved eternally on YouTube.
Telling me now I'm on the internet like you?
You are. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Aren't you glad you combed your hair? Yeah. You know, Heather like laughing at me for brushing my hair in the mirror there, but I knew I was going to be on the internet. So here I am. Got to mute myself, and then we'll hear from Mindy.
Yeah? No? Mindy, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I've been hearing everything. I'm echoing.
All right, you're on, Mindy.
Okay, I just want to know, did I miss the features?
I'm sorry, the features?
The features.
Yeah, you missed Alexis, but Shelly's coming on soon.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, but right now you're on. Go, Mindy.
Okay, 3 short poems. 2 friends, 1 seat. In 7th grade, my best friend Barbara and I cut classes, ran from bullies, picked up guys, hung out after school, called each other every evening with more to talk and laugh about. And when my stoop was full with only one seat left, we'd sit on each other's lap. Till one day, Barbara told me we shouldn't do that because her boyfriend said we looked like lesbians. Okay. The next one is called Bad Marriage. He wanted more sex. I wanted more kindness. We were both gravely disappointed. And my last one, looking up. The sky is pastel pink and baby blue tonight. Goddess cloaks me with a blanket created for a newborn. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not there to hug you all.
All right, we're back or live. Although there's some kind of funky message here. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yeah, all this technology is very worrisome. Hey, but you know, we made that transition pretty well. From live in the room here to on Zoom. And thank you again, Mindy, for joining us. Mindy's a longtime friend of Art in the Basin, has been a featured performer a couple of times, both as a writer, poet, essayist, and as a comedian. We will hear a little bit more comedy in a moment, but one last open micer before we get to our second feature tonight. Shelly, let's hear from Miss Fly Vida.
Coming up here. Hi, thank you. Hi, y'all. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here with everybody. I always love coming through once in a blue because I'm a teacher and I love what I do, but it runs my life. And so I was gonna come to just be inspired by you all. But Tim invited me to read, and so I said, sure, why not? So I'll be reading from now my discontinued version of this book, my introductory collection called The Fly Life. It will be re-releasing before 2025. So that has been a long time project. So at Bronx, 16 years. I reigned from a place where the bodegas for breakfast, the street carts for lunch, and the restaurant that's owned by your father's friend's cousin's uncle is for dinner. Y café con leche accompanies every meal. Moonlight, simulated streetlights, crickets roar on a regular schedule, exhaust antenna in the air. My travel time is measured in how many means of transportation I have to use to get from point A to point B, since trains run north and south and buses trek east to west. Tunnels and bridges will get us through the rest. When the music is just right, you'll find us dancing in the doorway of the restaurant adjacent to the entryway to someone else's life. Dear Boogie, if you could take the claws out of my back so that I might love you right. At Bronx, New York City, the intersection of art, culture, and community. We do not always see eye to eye, like when those fires, Game 2 of the 1977 World Series flames rose up behind Yankee Stadium and separated the have-nots from the have-nothings. But from the ash rose the phoenix. There should be no line that divides the community from the art that defines the community that creates the art. Celia sang it best, rompiendo barreras, cruzando fronteras, not just to survive, but to thrive. All for one, and art for all. Todos por unidad, arte por comunidad. Thank you. Do I have time for one more? Okay. So in light of recent events, that is the election, we are reviving Dear Donald Trump. They say well-behaved women rarely make history. I think it's time to become a household name. Please join me in my endeavor to be remembered as none other than the nasty woman and the company she keeps. Dear Donald Trump, they call me a nasty woman. I could flip the bird to show you how I really feel, but then I wouldn't also be a classy woman. I didn't vote against you because of your abortion aversion. I didn't want you to represent my country because I think you're an awful person. Dear Commander-in-Chief, I have chosen ignorant bliss because I can't listen to another second of your twisted politics. Remember the 8th of November, the ballots, the rigging, and plot. For I know of no reason why the miscount and treason should ever be forgot. Remember the 8th of November. We couldn't believe it was true because we'd put Frank Gallagher in the Oval Office before we'd ever elect you. Dear Commander-in-Chief, I have chosen ignorant bliss because I can't listen to another second of your twisted politics. Dear Mr. President, your people cannot say exactly how many children they've detained. Dear Mr. Trump, what is your 2 cents on why I have to use children and detained in the same damn sentence? You say that women love you, and I'd love to meet the one. It's probably the same classroom teacher who wants to be given a gun. And just for the record, there are none. Dear Donald Trump, they call me a nasty woman. There's so much more I have to say. You'll have to wait for the next poem. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Donald Trump, the president that launched 1 million poems and rants and even a few raves, but we won't get into that. Anyhow, let's bring up our second featured performer tonight. Hopefully I'll capture this all. I've captured it in the bio. Shelly Colman is the 2014 Ladies of Laughter Newcomer National Grand Champion and a native New Yorker. She was born in Brooklyn 1 million years ago, before it was hip, and she has been unhip ever since. Shelly has performed since 3rd grade when she played Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, in PS 161's abridged version of The Wizard of Oz. Very timely, given the movies currently on view. More recent highlights include performances at the New York Shakespeare Festival's Public Theater, Absolute Comedy Toronto and Ottawa, and most recently Gotham Comedy Club with the Ladies of Laughter. When she's not on stage, you can hear her on 90.7 WFUV FM and WFUV.org. They are a not-for-profit radio station, by the way, based here in the Bronx. And we have a couple of hours left before midnight, so please do, if you're inclined, log in and donate. Everybody, Shelly Colman.
Sorry, my cousins left. Didn't leave me anything to eat. Hi, I'm Shelly. I'm respectable, which means that when you first see me, you suddenly can't remember if you've returned your library books or not. And if you haven't, it's not too late. I don't like being respectable. I don't do it on purpose, you know. I try to change it up. Maybe you can't tell, but I'm wearing sparkly shoes tonight, okay? Doesn't help. It doesn't matter what I wear. I'm still the civil servant who denied your application. What was it, DMV? Yeah, that was me. I can't go into a bank without somebody asking me for a loan. And I don't think it's a good thing to look respectable all the time, you know? I really don't. I think it's dangerous, potentially. Like when the body snatching aliens come, they're coming for me first. because I am the perfect mole. I'm the perfect double agent, right? Come on, really, if the second assistant director to the undersecretary of planning and budgeting is a pod person, who's going to notice? That's fine. It was really rhetorical, but please feel free to jump in whenever you like. Uh-huh. Right. See, the good thing about doing this at an open mic is I can pretend that was intentional, and I can pretend that it's not comedy, it's spoken word, and that I have a partner, you see. Okay, so we'll hear more from him later, I'm very sure. So I think generally it's assumed that I'm respectable, but there's a place in Brooklyn called Seagate, which is a gated private community. Now, I went there to visit a friend of mine last summer, and she told me, when you get to the gate, just tell the guard where you're going and he'll let you in. I was like, great. So I go to the gate. The guard says, where are you going? And I tell him. And he goes, do you have a code? I said, no, I'm a little stuffy, but it's allergies. And he goes, no, a code. I didn't know about a code. She didn't tell me I needed a code. So he made me call her on speakerphone so he could hear her tell me and me tell her that I was there so he could let me in. Because apparently to the rest of the world, I am respectability incarnate. But in Seagate, I'm a thug. The life chose me, I didn't choose it. Know what I mean? Told you. I heard you mentioned that earlier. So technically you didn't just walk in this time, you just walked in the last time. You're still in. So if you went out and came back, then you could say you just walked in. But don't. Okay, so moving on. I'm an old person. I just am. I come from a long line of old people. You know, that's what we do. We get old. My dad would have been, I was 24, 114 this year. I know, 100. I cannot wrap my mind around that because I just turned 120 and I can't make the math work. You know, it just doesn't work that way. My dad was a very cool guy. He was a musician. He was an English teacher at one point. He was very well educated. Well, he loved books. So I was named by my dad. He told me that he named me after one of his favorite poets, John Keats, which I think, no, I'm sorry, Percy Shelley. Percy Shelley, because my first name, of course, is Shelly. Also, by the way, I think my dad wanted a son. And the reason I think that is because he told me so. And had I been a boy, that's when he would have named me John Keats. But I wouldn't have been John Colman. I would have been Keats Colman, which is a fantastic name. Keats Colman, come on. I think, though, legally I would have been required to play jazz saxophone if I were Keats Colman. A small club in the village, you know. Where the trumpet player goes up to the mic, introduces, coming up now on tenor sax, Keats Colman. And then I walk out in a pork pie hat, dark shades, my shiny saxophone, walk up to the microphone and I go, wonk, and then I leave. Because that's how Keats Colman plays. That's not my name. My full name is Shelly Colman. So when I was a kid, Shelly was an unusual name for a girl because it was the early 1600s. And it wasn't, I mean, I'm sure most of you know at least one Shelly now, or you know someone who knows a Shelly. And I'm just Shelly. I'm not Michelle or Rochelle or Sheldrake or anything like that. It's just Shelly. But when I was a kid, I spent most of the time telling people my name over and over again. It's, what's your name? Shelly. Shirley? No, it's Shelly. Sheila? No, it's Shelly. Kelly? No, it's Shelly. Jilly? No, it's Shelly. Miriam? Yes. Yes, my name is actually Miriam. I mean, it's spelled Miriam, but it's pronounced Shelly. And then my dad, because he thought our lives wouldn't be hard enough, he took the E out of the common spelling of Coleman. So now it's just Colman, which seems pretty simple. Apparently not. I have seasonal allergies. So I used to work in Midtown, and every summer I would have to go to the pharmacy and get my prescription for antihistamines for allergy medicine. Every summer. One year I started going to Duane Reade. Exactly. Now, the first time I went, I asked them if they had my medication, and they said, no, we don't. And I said, did you check the spelling? And they said, no, we didn't. So they checked the spelling, and there it was. The next month I called in advance. If that's for me, I'm not here. So I called in advance and I said, hey, my name is Shelly Colman, Colman. Do you have my prescription? And they said, yes. And I said, are you sure? And they said, yes. And I went to the store and they did not have my prescription. This went on for 6 months. A sane person would have stopped after 2, but me, no. I continued. But after 6 months, I had enough. And I started a boycott of Duane Reade. Haven't been to a Duane Reade this whole time. 20 years I have been boycotting Duane Reade. And you know what happened? After 20 years, they were bought out by Walgreens. That's all me, yo. I told you. I'm a thug. Thug life. I love that sound. I don't know what it is, but I love it. It sounds like whipping cream. Is that cream? No, my could have been. Yes, it could have been. Or maybe it was you. I don't know. What are you drinking? Bordeaux. We have a lovely Bordeaux, I'm told. I don't know. I don't drink. Alcoholism runs in my family, and I don't feel the need to chase it. So it's just not. No. Anyway. So I'm a Brooklyn gal, born and raised. Yeah. All right. Okay. Brooklyn, all up in this piece, representing the hood and shit. Now, see, there's some things that I can't say. Some things just don't sound right coming out of this face. And one of them is and shit. It just sounds like you know what else I can't say? I can't say the N-word. I can't say the N-word. Now, technically I can. Legally I can, because I am, in fact, a black woman. I'm just the palest black woman you'll ever see, mostly because Rachel Dolezal is actually white. But so technically I can say it. But really, even if I say it with an UH at the end or an AH, it comes out of this face with an ER. So I'm just not saying it. I have to say, quote, the N-word. Anyway. So I'm a black woman from Brooklyn, and I lived there all my life. I used to live in a neighborhood that didn't have a name, because when I was a child, again, in the 1700s, it was all farmland, you know? And I preferred it that way. I'd like, somebody would come up to me, go, where you from? And I'd go, Brooklyn. And they'd go, oh, okay. And they'd give me their wallet. And that was the end of it. We'd just move on. But after a while, the village elders got together and they decided, we need a name. Everybody else has a name. They put their heads together and came up with the most pompous thing. My old neighborhood that didn't used to be called anything but Brooklyn is now called Prospect Lefferts Gardens. Prospect Lefferts Gardens. And with that name change, taxes went up. White people moved in. I had to get out because I was used to being the palest one in the neighborhood and I couldn't take the competition. So now I live in another part of Brooklyn. I live in a part of Brooklyn that is there's a lot of, it's Vermont. I live in Vermont. That's how white my neighborhood is. It's Vermont. But it's fine because with this face, I can move among them freely. They don't even notice. Okay, that used to be called passing, okay, which you'll see in your history books before you return them to the library. And I've never liked that expression. It makes it sound like I'm doing it on purpose. And I promise you, I had no choice. I mean, if anybody had asked me what I wanted to look like, I might have gone a different way. I might have gone darker. I might have gone lighter, so it'd be completely invisible. I might have gone for an animal print. I don't know. Maybe zebra stripes because they're slimming, right? But no, this is the face that I got. And I'm mostly used to it. You know, I've looked like this for quite some time, so no surprises. Every once in a while, though, I look in the mirror and I go, what? So I did the DNA test, the one where you spit in a tube and you send it off to the government. And then 6 weeks later, you wake up in a bathtub full of ice with only one kidney. You know that one? That's the one I did. And I got my results from that. That was kind of an eye opener, I'll tell you. Turns out, according to my DNA, I am part West African, part Western European, and part West Highland Terrier. I had no idea. Wasn't expecting that last one. I mean, I did the test partly because I was just curious, but also I want to know who I can imitate. I want to know who I can make fun of, right? Because you know the rule is you can't make fun of them. You can only make fun of us. Fortunately, I got a lot of us's. Are we related by any chance? The person you have to make fun of. I was. Were you not paying attention? Okay. So the two largest groups, it turns out, in my background are Nigerian and Irish. And I thought, how the hell did they get together? And then I remembered, oh, boats, of course, boats. Some of them on purpose, some of them really not so much. But why that's important to me is that I really like doing a bad and possibly offensive Irish accent. And I will do a very bad and possibly offensive Irish accent. Now, let me just, as an aside here, do you know there's a whole lot of different words for like how much black is in a person's background? Like there's a mulatto, which is like half and half. And then I think there's quadroon. My favorite one is octoroon. Have y'all heard of octoroons? An octoroon is a person who is 1/8 black. So if you have one black great-grandparent, you are technically an octoroon. Isn't that absurd? However, I have one Irish great-grandparent, which I suppose makes me like a macaroon, maybe? Some kind of a coconut cookie? Are you Irish by any chance, my lad? You're not? You're not Irish? Okay, then I have nothing to say to you. You're not Nigerian by any chance, are you? You're not Nigerian by any chance? No. Okay. Well, I've run the gamut there. Anyway, once I learn, I'm sorry. What? Can you? Not if I don't participate. True. Say so. Anyway, once I figure out that Nigerian accent, don't even kid yourself. I'm going straight for it. I have no idea why I said that. There was another thing. There was like a tag on that, but honestly, I've completely forgotten. I can't imagine why. Right, that's what I was going to say. Thank you so much for saving me. I feel so much better now. Oh. Anyway, so the reason that I'm going into all this detail about blackness and whiteness is as kind of a public service. And yes, this will be on the exam, by the way. If you ever find yourself in a place where you think there's nothing but white people, we're everywhere. I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Shelly Colman. Hilarious. And we got a lesson in ethnography here tonight. So thank you very much for that. So before we wind things down, we'd like to call Alexis back up. And she will do and Shelly. Okay. Someone will do the usual Art in the Basin benediction to get everybody out of here in a good mood. Uplifted.
Oh, right.
So,
so is there any kind of lead into this, or do we just do it?
Alexis. Okay.
I need the book.
Sorry. Got it. All right.
So, how do you want to?
I want you to do the whole thing.
All right. All right. All right. So I'm going to be reading from The Purest Kind by our own lovely Amy Joy, which you can find available on Amazon. The poem is Lead Love. Love at the helm, take me to an unseen realm. In it, I'll dwell under sacred spell, waving until your gaze sets still. Love, lead the way. And on 1, 2, 3, we are going to say, let love lead. So 1, 2, 3.
Let love lead.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelly Colman, Alexis Garcia. Woo! He just wants to say your name. All right, we're signing off now, and we are so happy to have had you here. But if you're here with me in 2024, going into 2025, I want you to take those 3 words, scramble them up, and put the lead first. So let's do it on toi, okay? On du toi. We're gonna lead, let love. Sorry. On du toi, lead, let love. That's right. Lead with love and let that love in and out. Ciao. Love you all. Happy holidays.